Bonjour! Today I'm going to be doing a review of Riders by Veronica Rossi. This is actually a non-spoilery review. So as I mentioned last week in my massive book haul, I am absolutely obsessed with this book. So obsessed. This book is just amazing. I could not put this book down. I could not stop thinking about it. I couldn't stop obsessing about it and just telling everybody how amazing this was. Even some of my friends that don't even read, I was just like, this book, guys, this book. It was just, I don't know. I can't even speak. This book is just amazing. I just love everything about it. I love the writing. I love the characters. I love the plot. Everything is just amazing. I did not know what to expect with this book. I never read a Veronica Rossi book before, and I did not know this book is very widely unknown. I thought that I might not even have liked this book. Boy, was I wrong. I loved it. Basically, this book is about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. The main character, Gideon Blake, is the war horseman. He is joined by conquest, famine, and death. Together, they band together to defeat this evil beings from the planet Earth. But they fail, and because they fail, they're pulled into interrogation, and this story is told through flashbacks. So basically, Gideon has been captured by the army. He is just telling his story, everything that's happened up to this point. It starts off that he's in like this chair, and they're like, okay, tell us what happened. And then it dives right into the foot. I loved Gideon so much. He had such a strong voice. He was such an honorable and passionate and just broken character. He was so vulnerable but really strong at times. I really loved him. I fell in love with him so hard. I only really read young adult, and I really don't want to read what happens in a hormonal teenage brain's mind. But Gideon's point of view, he's 18, so he's a little past the hormonal age and stuff, a little bit, not much. And so it's really clean, and I really loved it so much. Reading a romance from the male's point of view is so strange. Like, I've never done it before. When you read it through the girl's point of view, you fall in love with the guy because of the words he says and the actions he does and just other things that the character tells you about him. But when you read it through his point of view, you see his thoughts, you see his emotions, you see his insecurities, his internal struggles, you see his soul. You really fall for them. I have never read a book where it was so hard for me to ship the main character and the girl. There's so little romance in this book. Very little romance. There's like 360 pages in this book, and maybe in less than 20 of those pages contain romance. I was actually kind of happy that there was little romance because Gideon is mine. Your argument is invalid. Okay, he's mine. And every time he was talking about Darren and stuff, I was like, no, you're mine. Stop thinking about her. Can I marry him, please? I want to marry Gideon so bad. Oh my god. Gideon easily became one of my top 10 favorite book boyfriends. I love him so much. Can there please be more books with male point of views that are clean, where they don't think about girls in inappropriate ways, where they just see a girl and they're like, oh, I want to be with that girl, not, oh, I want to do all these things to her. Yeah. No. I want clean books. So while this is a non-spoilery review, there are a couple things I really need to talk about. There are spoilers, so if you have not read the book, skip to this time frame. Okay, so my favorite part about the book is when they were in Norway, when they were training and they were bonding and they were just learning how to use their horses and their weapons. I really love that. They really turned into a team during that time. Like before that, they were just like a bunch of random people who banded together and had to like defeat this evil, and they didn't even really know each other. But I really love that part. They really grew as a team. One of my favorite quotes ever comes from that part. One thing I really loved about this book is that the way horses are conveyed in them. Like, they're an actual character in the book. Like, they're not just horses. There's so much more than that, and I really loved that. This one quote, I need to read it. It's just so beautiful. My relationship with Riot isn't touching. Riot changed me. I told him things I never said to anyone. I told him about my dad. I remember it walking along the river's edge one afternoon, his reflection flickering in the water, me talking, putting everything I'd been carrying around for a year into words. All the anger I felt for sitting in the truck doing nothing when I could have been saving my dad's life. I'd lost it. I'd sat down on the gravel and cried like a baby. Everything became clear to me in that moment. How my anger had actually been guilt, how my guilt had actually been a crutch, how the crutch was what I'd been using to avoid the pain. I felt the pain that afternoon. My heart broke on that river bank. It felt so broken, I thought it was going to kill me. But then I'd felt hot horse breath on my forehead, and when I looked up, there he was, Riot looking at me like, I'm still here, get up, let's keep going. And we did keep going. I have, because of him, my horse. I never expected it. That Riot could give me what I needed to let go, to move on. But he did. And that's just so beautiful. I started crying a little bit when I was reading it. It's so beautiful how much his horse affected him and how it helped him move on from his dad, because that is something that was like tearing him up inside. And it's so beautiful how a horse could do that, how like an animal. And he was so like hesitant, like, I don't want to train with my horse. Like, we don't have the best relationship, you know? But then when he actually really made an effort into the relationship with his horse, it was beautiful. So beautiful. I loved it. After reading that, I just want to give Gideon a hug. Like, that was so beautiful. I'm so happy he finally got through that really tough moment, because losing a parent it's really traumatic. It really changes you and it really screws up your life. And I'm just so happy that like he has this horse that's helping him through it. Like, I think that's just so beautiful. There's this one quote that's actually before that, when they were on the plane to get to Rome, that really just made me fall in love with Gideon. Well, there's so many moments that made me fall in love with him, but this one quote just really spoke to me, and it was just so beautiful. As a soldier in the US Army, I was prepared to do whatever was asked of me because I believed deep down to my soul that the uniform I'd wear as a ranger represented the defense of liberty and freedom in the country that I love. I'd chosen to serve because I could fight, and because until war stopped happening, people like me were needed. I had zero problem doing whatever it took to keep harm from coming to innocent people. Zero problem. Period, exclamation point, freaking hoo-ha. I hadn't had that kind of clarity since I'd become war, though. I hadn't known what I was fighting for or really against. Sitting in that dark cargo plane, it started coming together for me. My enemies were demons, but it was still my duty to protect the innocent. Realizing that was a huge relief. I really love that. I really love the way Gideon's role as war really changed him. Before that, he was just really angry and aggressive and just violent. But being war changed him. It helped him to get through his grief. It helped him sort through some of his problems. It gave him a clarity, like that quote just said. It really changed it. The last thing I really want to talk about is the ending. The ending was so intense. I can't believe that Gideon lost his hand. It made me so sad. And the fact that he can't even be an Army Ranger anymore, like he can't go to training, he doesn't even have a chance to finish his training because he doesn't have a hand anymore. That made me so sad. Being an Army Ranger meant the world to him, and now he can't be that anymore. It really beat me up inside. A little bit I was happy because, as I mentioned before, I really am in love with Gideon, and I really like had some moments where I just was like, can I please marry him? But one of the things that like held me back was like, if he was a real person, I would have second thoughts about marrying him because he wants to be in the Army, and the Army, being with someone in the Army is a really big commitment. Coming from a military family, I know what that means. So yeah, I know he's not a real person, and like, but just I really love him. But now the fact that he's not in the Army anymore means there's no doubt about it. I would like totally marry him. It makes me sad that like the reason why he's not in the Army anymore, like, I really like that he's not, but I just wish that he wasn't anymore because he was like, maybe this isn't for me, but no. But what really made me happy was that Marcus joined the Army. I think that was a really good thing for him. Marcus had a really tough childhood, I can tell. I think Marcus just needs some direction in his life, and he needs something to let off some steam and like some anger. And I think the army is perfect for that and perfect for him. So I'm really happy that he made it through the army. Makes me sad that Gideon didn't, because he lost his hand because of the stupid freaking demons cutting off his hand. It made me so sad. Poor Gideon. He doesn't have a hand anymore. He only has one hand. That reminds me of another one of my boyfriends, Captain Hook. Also, poor Sebastian getting pulled into, like, I don't know where they got pulled, all the demons. I think it's some sort of like hell, some kind of underworld. But poor Sebastian getting sucked there into too. Oh, I really love Sebastian. He was definitely one of my favorites after Gideon. I mean, Gideon is my love. I love him so much. But Sebastian was definitely a second favorite. That now concludes the spoiler section of this review. So this book has become the best book I've read in 2016 already. I've read like 12 books, I think, with the exception of Jane Eyre, which has become my favorite book of all time. This and Jane Eyre so far are my best books I have read in 2016. I'm so sad that this is only going to be a duology. Like, no, a duology? Please, I feel like it would be such an amazing thing for this to have 4 books. It makes me so sad. This series has so much potential to be like an amazing like series, but no, it's only gonna be 2 books. I'm so sad about that. And the next book is gonna be told by Darren's point of view, the girl. No. I love Gideon so much. Why are you taking him away from me? How dare you? Yes, Gideon is also still gonna have a point of view in the next book, but still, it's not gonna be the main person. I'm not okay with this. I'm gonna meet Veronica Rossi in a couple days, actually. I am like so freaking excited to meet Veronica Rossi because holy crap, this book was phenomenal. Oh my god. So I originally was not going to do a review about this book, but midway through the book, I became so obsessed with it, and I couldn't not do a review. I have so much to say about this book, and I could talk for hours about how amazing this book is, because it was. This is the first review that I have done without taking notes when I was reading, and with like flat out just writing my thoughts out on a script and filming it. So I hope this review was still pretty good despite that. And if you have not read this book, what are you doing with your life? Go read it. Like, I'm serious. Just like read an excerpt, read like the first couple pages. Like, it really draws you in from page 1 and you're like, whoa, like I must keep reading. Like, just go read an excerpt, just go read something. Just go read it. It's just so amazing. And I need more people to read this book so I can just like spaz out and like obsess and like, I need more people to read this book so I can have people to obsess with, because I am absolutely obsessed with this book. So I hope you enjoyed that review. That was the first one I did, as I mentioned before. I didn't take notes doing this. I hope it was still good. You guys ever wanted to meet somebody so bad, like an author or maybe a celebrity, that like just the thought of meeting them makes you want to spontaneously combust with excitement? That's me with a lot of authors and some celebrities. Right now, it's about Veronica Rossi. Comment below who that person is for you, and if you've actually met that person. Can't wait for book 2, and I hope that she changes her mind and makes it into a 4-book series. Because please, I'm gonna tell her when I meet her, like, how dare you do this to me? 2 books? No, how dare you do this? I hope you enjoyed. Au revoir.